Hey everyone, it's Ross. The following is an actual play of Shadowdark RPG. We welcome you to sit in with us and listen to our adventures. As with all of our actual plays, it's not a performance. These are just friends playing tabletop role-playing games and playing them the way we do. Some editing has been done for your enjoyment, including sound effects and music. Details about the artists are included at the end of the podcast. We hope you enjoy. You have become lost. In a moment when a feeling of jealousy intersected with tripping on a limb under moonlight, or as you laughed, a dewdrop fell from a nearby bow into your eyes. A moment or feeling of uncertainty. Whatever it was, you raise your head to find yourself in a vast wilderness. This is not where you were before. You have no way home. It is filled with monsters, ruins, and secrets. In time, you find the last vestige of civilization. Its inhabitants mostly others who've also become lost here in this wild place. Your talents were recognized. Now you are an adventurer of Perrinval. It is up to you to defend and help the people of this dream world. To attain treasures, secrets, defeat the horrors that have lain dormant in the shadows until you awoke them with your arrival. These are the stories of that kingdom and its people, of heroes and of villains, and of magic. Welcome to the Vale. Test. What happened last time?
Yo. A lot of stuff happened. We we spoke to our quote unquote friend, the frogman who was in charge of his frog troops, who proudly announced that he had slain I think something like a dozen adventurers, he and his party. So we snuck around and left some warning signs, literal signs, up and down the road to alert people to the ambush spot that he had. Hopefully that'll save people, but it'll probably make the road unusable in the meantime. Then we proceeded farther up the road towards Lornedain, where we encountered signs of a struggle. We saw some blood on the ground. We saw a recently trodden footpath up to the north, where we believe that some of the woodsmen had departed, though we later found out that at least some of them had also gone south. Then we also received scouting information from the east northeast, I think, from one of our familiars, Blossom, which is Log's familiar, which told us that there is signs of an orc warband preparing to perhaps storm its way west and south. We at least suspect that that's their plan. We have no idea what their actual plan is. So we double timed it to the south and found the keep where the Baroness, is that the right title? Right. So we attempted to gain access to the keep, but were turned away for reasons that are somewhat mysterious. And were essentially but we did manage to convince them of our legitimacy, to the point where they provided us a carriage ride to the village of Lornedain, Lornedain. Sorry. So where we found ourselves allowed through the walls and to make our way into the War Mallard Tavern, which we just stepped into as the game wrapped up last session.
Indeed, and here you are now. I'll describe the outside one more time and what you see inside here. And now, this is the evening of your first day entering the lands of the barony. So it's nighttime outside, it's evening. The horsemen, the lancers of the Baroness, they stable their horses, and they join the guards because your new friend, Sergeant... what's his name? Sergeant...
Abdul.
Abdul, thank you. Yeah, Sergeant Abdul, you convinced them that There's an orc threat that could affect, could attack the village of Lornedain. So they have sent a lance of horsemen out to aid the guards of the village. They have a trench line as well as a wooden palisade outside of the village. Anyways, you enter, and of course the sergeant, he bid his farewell to you, and they depart. And there was this inn. It is otherwise dark outside. It is an autumn night. There was a sign over the door. It's 3 stories tall, though narrow and cramped, sort of a vertical 3-story establishment. The sign on the door shows a ornamental kite-shaped wooden shield, and on the shield is carved a black duck with a green head, but he's in plate mail and he's holding a weapon, and it says the War Mallard Inn. And on the inside of the tavern, it is cozy, if just a bit tight. There are about half a dozen tables for 6 and 6 stools at the bar. The bar is kept by a bald, middle-aged man with thick fingers and a grizzled jaw. And over the bar hangs a battle-worn halberd. There are 4 patrons here tonight. You see a gnome sitting with a tiefling. You see a dwarf sitting with a turtle. When you enter, the barkeep raises his hands to you in a hail. He says, "Come on in and order a drink."
Rex swaggers in as best his diminutive stature allows, trying to just sort of like elbow outwards, such to fill up a little more space. Try to make himself into the cool guy adventurer.
He, in fact, looks very much the cool guy adventurer.
Excellent.
Everybody else come in, and yeah.
I'll follow close behind Rex and try to look small.
Good wingman.
Following that,
I have to
Saber-
emphasize that Log's our best charisma person. He's our stat-wise, at least, he's the party face.
That's true.
I made a mistake. There are 4. You see, as you enter, you also see 4 people in the darkness walking past outside. They look like normal commoners. You can hear them whisper. It's obvious they notice you. They're pointing and whispering. The outsiders that enter the village. I have a note here. I forgot to mention this is also important. There are a group of 4 other people here with armor and weapons and robes sitting at a table. They also notice you when you come in. They're being loud and raucous. Yeah, what do you do?
The sense of them perhaps also being adventurers like us.
Yes, they do look like that.
I'm gonna give them the adventurers table. I'm gonna give them a sideways look, not so much as to be threatening, but enough to let them know that I see them. Do they see us?
Oh yeah, totally. They see you.
Yeah. Just sort of a check, you know. Let them know that we see you.
Okay. When
Yeah.
you do that, you look over and you get that "I see you," and they do the Spider-Man thing. You kind of point at each other, and they like that meme. And then, but when you the look you get in return is you can see in their eyes, because you've seen this on people's faces many a time. There is a look of recognition immediately followed by alarm or fear, a raising of hackles.
That's unusual.
But then they look friendly, But you read that as soon as you see them. But as soon as you see them see you, yeah.
As all this mutual seeing is going on, do we happen to notice if they're wearing any like sign or obviousness of being adventurers of I think Pernival is what we are as well with
Yeah,
the dagger, right?
yeah. You do, in fact, see daggers. Um, you immediately, Sabert, when you see it, you can immediately tell these are counterfeits.
Ooh. All is explained, or much is explained at least.
Fellas,
Rex doesn't say that. Go ahead.
do you think we should get a table or go up to the bar?
Let's start at the bar.
Yeah, I think we
Talk to
should
the
start.
barkeep. He seems the type
Yeah.
who'd know things.
All right, he's doing the classic thing where he's tending the bar, preparing other drinks and food coming in and out. There are other people here. There's a waitress that comes in and out. The waitress is let's see, waitress. Yeah, and anyways, he's a big burly human man, and he regards you as you approach with you get a sense of kind of guardedness, and he just nods, but you can tell that he can see, he can tell that you're, traveling adventurers, and he says, "Hello, travelers."
Would you be Master Bayard then?
Bayard. Did I tell you Bayard? Where did I say Bayard?
I have
bet
that
said
written down as the innkeep.
I don't know why I said that, but his name would be Ducanard, and so sorry about that. But to that he says, I'm Ducanard.
Side note: I had Bayard as a woodsman. I think we learned
That's what
that
it was.
from
Yeah,
I have him as the
Oh, my
forester,
bad.
so-
chariot driver.
I totally believed you though. I was like, yeah, I probably probably like to split those.
I just have
You
that.
did. You were
Rex
really
kind of
good.
puts one foot on the crossbars of two different bar stools to kind of lift himself up to eye level.
Nice.
A motion that he's more practiced than it sounds like, probably, because he's had to do this a bunch of times. He just says like, so we've just arrived in town. What's the news? Many grim tidings, it seems.
There's some grim times, traveler. News is, though, that you have to pay for your fare and drink here if you're going to stay for the night.
Oh, all right.
We'd have it no other way. I'm gonna
Yeah.
glance over my shoulder at those posers.
Yeah, yeah, you do that, and the rest of you see Durek glance, and at the same time, Ricio Ducanard, the tavern keep, he also glances, and of the 6 here, 3 of them get up. One of them is a half-orc, a young half-orc. He styles his hair in a very human way. It's almost like he's a half-orc that's really trying hard to look like a human. He's got a red shawl and cloak, but otherwise some of the accents of... and as they get closer, you can tell that their materials are cheap. And some of the armor is even like of a ceremonial or faux quality. It's not actually real. And one of the other person is a tiefling woman with a big manly jaw and horns that kind of come out like this way, like one of those people from Star Wars, the ones with the horns.
Oh, I know the ones.
Yeah. And then
The Devonians, yeah.
Devonians, and there's a drow elf with curly red hair that these people all come up, and the half orcs like, Did you make your way in from Perrinval?
Who's asking? I was about to ask you the same question.
Look, friends. This is our job. This is our town. Then he looks over at the tavern keep and looks back at you. This is our tavern. Maybe you ought to just leave.
I'm gonna punch him in the face.
You can get a surprise attack, because I'm surprised. so,
Help him.
so I
Yeah, I
think
think
you
we're
would
gonna
be.
do a little bit more back and forth first. I'm going with it. I'm backing up.
Let me see.
Log was
if
getting
I-
ready to ask about the ambush, so it's like, oh, have you been ambushed?
Yeah, that happens. That's awesome. Take a luck token for that.
All right, we were supposed to roll for our luck tokens.
Oh yeah, roll D4
yeah.
plus, you know, whatever your math is for it.
Yeah.
No, this
This
isn't
is-
good. Let's
Oh,
do
nice.
this one. And you guys can go ahead and roll your initiative, and we can... Somebody watch the initiative rolls and help me find the highest one, please.
Okay.
Do I need to roll initiative on a surprise attack?
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and knock it out. But you'll get... But yeah, you get your surprise attack as well.
All right. Initiative's just a dex check, right?
Yeah, you'd add your dexterity modifier. And ultimately, I'm just looking for the highest, because it determines where the
roll a
monsters
one.
will fall.
I have 14 total. I got Dirk had a 19, so it looks like the highest.
I mean, he gets 2 rolls? Or 2 actions, maybe?
Yeah, it's looking like that's the case. Alright, so... If Durek has the highest, then yes, you punch him in the face. You can roll to hit.
All right. I don't have a hand-to-hand attack or anything. Like I have. What should I roll on the chart here?
Yeah, great
So go on.
question. Let's just roll like a regular attack with your. You can
roll
add
a d20 and add my attack bonus.
Yeah, all of your talent features for either strength or we'll do strength, and then just
Okay.
do a D4.
All right. 19.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Are you trying to subdue, or are you trying to cave his nose in and end him?
I'm just trying to knock him out. I'm not trying to, kill him.
All right. Roll for damage. You don't have to roll for damage, actually. You knock him out with that. And he takes a little nap. All right, and then you get another attack, actually. But instead, I'm going to have them immediately roll their morale, because they see this orc warrior just, like, conk out one of their... Oh, they pass. All right, they're going to fight.
All right.
Yeah, and you're at the top of the round.
I'm gonna grab the drow by the shirt and headbutt him in the face.
Same thing.
All right. Strength roll.
Oh, man.
Natural 20.
So remember all the things you can do. Well, no, I'm thinking of a luck token. But roll damage and see if it explodes. I just want to see if you can...
The D4.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll say that you can describe how you... Are you just trying to knock all of them out?
I'm just trying to knock the 2 of them out. I'm
Right.
gonna punch the one and then boom, headbutt the other, the drow.
He's
who,
handing that
you know,
mask.
the ginger drow.
How do you knock out the third one?
I only have the 2, right?
No,
Oh,
you
'cause
rolled a
it's
nat
critical, you
20.
get-
Yeah, let's do it.
Who else is there?
The third one here is let's see, you did the
The
drow,
tiefling,
the tiefling. No, yeah, you did the half orc and the drow. There's the tiefling.
Yeah. All right. So either side of the horns, so I don't mess up my fist. I'm gonna clap him in the ears on both sides. Just give them a boom.
This all happens
Perp.
within like 1.5 seconds. You just hear a squeaky, I was just a pastry chef, and then clack, and you hear like him clap his hands across this person's ears, and they fall to the ground. At this point, these will just simply try to run out the door and get away. And that's what the... actually, I need to roll to see if they can even move. But that's... yeah, they do it.
All right, after funny, will do whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah, they run for the door double near, but they make it just outside the tavern. That's how far they make it.
How's everyone else reacting? We gonna run after him, or are we pretty satisfied with this outcome?
I'm gonna say on my turn, I would like to order a drink.
I was about to say, I
That's
want a
awesome.
whiskey, dude. Just normal.
Pretty smooth.
Everybody ordering, and actually, everybody just take another luck token if you have the slot for it. And if you don't, that's fine. That's awesome. Okay, well,
Pretty good.
at this, okay, sure, there's a minstrel in the corner. They they just go back to playing. Everybody resumes,
Rex rolled a natural 1 on his initiative for the fight, so he's just catching up now. He
nice.
says that's what I like about you. You don't put up with bullshit.
At this, the Ricio's face, his just jaw is agape, and he's like, "You're actually an adventurer of Perrinval."
That's the barkeep.
Yeah, the
The
barkeep.
owner.
We all are actually.
I'd like to search the pockets of the unconscious.
Nice.
I think that's reasonable.
And if they have anything, I'm gonna give it to the barkeep.
Oh, take another luck token if you can fit it.
Nice.
If you can't fit it, don't worry about it. All right, let me roll to see
I
if they
think that's
have
reasonable.
anything. That's great. All right, I got to make a couple quick rolls here.
And then to answer his question, or I guess it really wasn't a question, it was a statement, but I'll say, indeed we are, and we're here to help.
Nice. 6. I'm gonna see. It seems they have procured some treasure through their imposter, thinly veiled banditry that they've been doing. One of them has on them. They just have cheap, crappy weapons that be of no use to you. Their armor is useless as well. You find on them 12 silver pennies in a bag. But on one of them, you find a wavy bladed greatsword worth at least 12 gold pieces.
Wow.
Well, I have no use for great
flambert?
swords, so I will hand the greatsword to Durek and say, I believe
like
this
Durek's
is your
doing that.
winnings.
Oh, well, I will take it since the greatsword is my mastery weapon. I will take it. I'll say, well, thank you, Log. I appreciate that.
And then,
So
yeah,
you
I'll
earned it.
put the 12 pennies on the counter for the barkeep.
His
Oh.
mouth is still agape, and he looks and he just pushes the pennies back, and he's like, No, just tonight on the house. I'll bring out food and drink, and you can pick your poison, and I'll give you the best rooms I have just for tonight."
That's more than decent of you. I appreciate that, and sorry for the mess.
He shuffles closer to the bar so that he can talk to you. You can see that he has a heavy limp. He cannot move around very quickly. And he leans onto the bar and he says, "You know, I was a soldier once.
Where did you serve?
Parabor. I remember well the horrors that I saw that night, but I was proud to get to be a part of it when the kingdom was established. I knew things were going to change then. I remember I had no horse, And he taps this big blade behind him, but he's like, but I had my family's weapon. I could see in the darkness, even as we were getting torn apart in the screams of the night, a banner waving in the night. And we screamed louder than those beasts, and we drove them back to the palace square. And he looks off in the distance.
Log just
If
stands
you
in
can look back on
awe.
something like that with pride, then you must have served honorably. So, thank you for your service.
No, I just said I stand there in awe, amazed at the story.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him the soldier salute.
Haha, now I'm just an old fat man behind a bar, here in an isolated barony out on the edge of the kingdom. But here's
Once a warrior, always a warrior.
how about this? And he brings out the best drink that he has. Just for tonight, a bottle. A March's Rye whiskey. And he puts out some glasses. And
Are you sure we aren't taking advantage of your good nature?
It's a
oh,
choice to make.
the guards hadn't taken care of that problem that I was having for the past 3 days.
Hmm.
So, as far as I'm
then we
concerned,
accept your generosity.
he just expresses his gratitude, and he puts out the bottle for you all to share in its entirety with a bunch of glasses and also bread and cheese and a big steaming pork pot roast.
Oh, outstanding. It's been a cold road.
So, you must be here then, actually from the kingdom.
Yeah.
I figured with the war on, no one would have been sent.
Well, what do you mention? We're actually not the first that were sent. We're just the first to arrive, unfortunately.
I see.
It's been a more dangerous road than we even imagined.
At that, who was asking for information before?
I believe Log was.
Is it Log? Log, you can roll a d20, and you can add. Let's see. For all of that, you can add a 5.
Okay.
Oh wow!
24.
24.
Oh, so close to a 1. Nice.
He says, I can't say I'm surprised. They're river pirates after all. They're the monsters. And then even if none of that was here, all of these people fight amongst themselves. But I'll tell you, for what it's worth, there's caverns, a spider web of them underneath this entire shire. I think it's a good place for someone to get lost.
You think that's where the missing people have gone?
I think it could be. Unless it's one of the demons from the army of Dane or something. Because they could come from the wilderness, but any sane person wouldn't have come from the wilderness to the south. And anywhere from the north, it would have been caught by the king's riders and... Yeah, so I think it could be underground. That's possibly where they were taken, if you ask me.
Well, then I have a few questions. Firstly, why would anyone go to such a place of their own free will, if not to be under the thrall or spell of such a demon?
Could be ensorcelment. I've seen these things before. No expert in them, but I know that such things are possible. Or it could be that they were taken there not of their free will.
Would you happen to know of an entrance to these underground caves, or where we might find one?
That I don't know. In fact, I know of no entrance into these caves. It's something I've heard of. If I had to guess, under the keep castle itself, any entrance into some sort of underground complex. Things were different here long ago. This province was wealthy, back when the merchant kingdom was flourishing, and all the way going back into the old kingdom of light.
What sorts of things changed?
Well, when the kingdom of light fell ages ago, all of the grand castles and passageways and dungeons and grand bridges and highways and things decayed. They fell into various petty merchant kingdoms under robber barons and councils of merchants like Parabor was. So, it wouldn't surprise me to know that the ancient castle of Lornedain holds a vast complex under it somewhere. Perhaps you could ask at the castle about it.
We've had little luck making our voice heard over there, though I couldn't begin to speculate why.
That is strange.
I suspect if buffoons like these guys were impersonating the good adventurers of Parenthal, then perhaps they have reason to doubt. Does this sort of thing happen all the time? I mean, it's... Perhaps we should sit at a table where we can talk.
Yeah.
By all means. Now, do you mean with him? You want him to come out and join you?
He's got a limp. We'll just eat at the the table, actually, unless we got someone else to talk to.
Yeah, you're right. I was...
Yeah. Though we might as well talk with a couple of people around here, though. They just at that point, we're just kind of talking to them because they're here. I think we're going to get the most mileage out of Persino.
I would like to ask him about the woodsman north of the village. We saw a terrible scene there, and if was this recent? Does the town know about what happened there?
What did you see?
Saw blood on the ground, and we also saw footprints leading north. We thought that it was the woodsman escaping northwards, but then later we heard that they had returned to the keep, where they apparently spend the night. It seemed a little unusual, but it would be a safe place.
Yes, the Baroness employs foresters. Some of them are travelers. Come in and they do work for the barony, gather lumber. Especially important for the coming winter, after all. This will be a truly harsh winter with the war. I know Bayard. I've always thought of him as an honorable man. But there are some here that think that perhaps the foresters are at fault with everything. I've heard that, at least, whisperings of that, but just about everyone here thinks that someone's at fault for some reason or another.
Yeah, there's a lot of blame going around.
So, something I've been kind of thinking on. First off, this whiskey's good. Thank you so much for this.
It is, isn't it?
It's something I've been kind of curious on as y'all been talking. Like my friend said, we went to the keep and it was less than stellar. And you'd mentioned some trouble with the guards. Have y'all had any change out of the Baroness as of late? That's just has anything just seemed odd or different lately?
Well, it was a bit of a shake-up. You know, when I think back, I'm from this barony after all. I was raised here. I knew her father. He was a strange man. I'll not lie. But we got by, and we were all
Strange
happy.
how?
Reclusive, esoteric. Rumors had it that he would keep strange things in the castle. Strange noises, all these sorts of things. His policies were erratic. But we were happy to see his strong, brilliant daughter come of age. And then she led a campaign, and in fact she was gone while I went to fight during the War of the Vale. In the Battle of Parabor, she was actually gone on a different campaign. She had organized a group of mercenaries and foreigners and had gone on a grand adventure to a place far away called the Everquiet.
An honorable sort of expedition, you'd say?
I suppose so. These things are common in these lands, such as yourselves, where you go and face some sort of supposed evil and fight it and try to gain treasure and fame and glory and such. I mean, you would know more about that than I would. But
Of course, one thing that I know is that it's always possible to be touched by something you didn't seek out. Often, so it leaves me wondering if she perhaps, in part, followed in her father's footsteps.
I don't know. But when she came back after the Battle of Parabor, of course everything changed. Parabor had fallen. This isolated barony was brought in under the king's armies, King Ardrith. At that, he like salutes. He thinks of Ardrith. He looks off to the side, you know.
A goodly king.
Indeed he is. I hope the rumors that he is missing aren't true. Have you heard anything from the kingdom? You all have heard that he is missing, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
With a heavy heart, we have heard similar. We can only pray for his swift return.
And just at the eve of battle, and at winter, even worse. Anyways, she had just returned when the kingdom established its authority over the outlying lands, the villages all along the Devouring Sea and south here, and into the barony. And she cooperated. She attended the royal council in Perrinval, and she bent the knee to King Ardrith, the Scarred, and pledged her loyalty to him in the kingdom, as many other lords and ladies and merchant kings and queens and such of the wilderness out here in the Vale have done. And after that happened, there was a lot of reorganization that happened, but I suppose that was true of everywhere. There were taxes levied. New things established. They established a general store for people to buy things. And lots of new taxes. An increase of taxes. But with the war, it made sense.
Might be a little above my pay grade.
Yeah, I am curious, Rex. Are you thinking along? Perhaps we're thinking along the same lines of perhaps the good Baroness brought something back with her from that campaign, something that
Yeah, it's possible.
she brought back in her heart.
Possible. Could even be some artifact that she'd been seeking out all along. Might have some relationship to the keep's connection to the catacombs, though. I don't want to overstep my bounds by speculating too wildly.
I think it's important
But,
we have
There's something going on.
have a meeting with her, but maybe we should gain some better reputation before we try to do such a thing.
Yeah.
Make a name for ourselves here quickly, then we have a chance to have company with her and get to the bottom of this quickly.
I'd say Derek's made a little bit of a name, but let's expand on that.
Speaking of the immediate problem, do we want to address these orcs in the woods?
Yeah, I got 2 weird questions for you. 1, do you know much about local orcs? And 2, do you know much about giant frogs? Or I look back to realize, like, was it frogs or toads?
They weren't wet, so I called them toads.
Okay, let's go with toads.
I mean, Saber has got the jokes. I'm sorry, what was that, Chris?
I would argue they were frogs. I mean, I watched them hop. I mean, I don't know if you really want to spend so much time tonight getting into the semantics of frogs. Anyway, yeah, like he said, do you know much about frogs or toads in these here parts?
I take it that you've seen these things, giant toads and orcs.
Some giant toads appeared to have been responsible for the fact that we are the first adventurers to actually arrive here, even though I believe 2 other groups have been sent out prior. Hope they're still alive. If not, may they rest in peace. I look visibly uncomfortable at that.
May their fires burn bright on the pyres of Tempest. Well,
To the heroes of Parenthal.
to that, everybody stops and they go, and they raise their glass. There's a cheer in the tavern. So, apparently a
As the
loyalist
cheer-
crowd.
He's small glass because he's kind of a literal lightweight.
As the cheer is going, Log's gonna tip his head as Blossom comes out, and he's going to feed it some bread and try to be discreet about it. Don't know if pets are allowed indoors.
I don't know how discreet a half troll is going to be.
They welcome all
At some
sorts
point, you
in
got to
here.
just roll with it.
Yeah. So, when you say that you've seen these things, he says, "I will tell you that with the war, I think all sorts of strange things in the wilderness have been pushed here into the barony. In some ways, we've been fortunate, because at least those demonic armies have not marched through here and razed this place to the ground. Without the king's armies, we wouldn't stand a chance, even with the forces that the Baroness has raised in her mercenaries. So,
That's another reason that those forces are not attacking here.
yes, monsters roam at night. That's why we built this palisade and the trenches and keep constant guards. Anytime
So do you fear these orcs attacking that we've described in the woods? Do you fear that they often make raids on the town or on the castle?
I have not seen any raids from orcs or forest or wilderness tribes. It wouldn't surprise me, though.
It's not impossible. We got it wrong. Like, maybe they're just trying to defend themselves. We haven't heard their side of the story yet.
You give something else for our hearts to worry about. I hope that you can find our people.
I certainly hope that we can provide more than worries. We're here to help.
As we kind of hear this, I would probably look to Log and just be like, how sure are you that your bird said orcs and not like pork or something?
With that, he's going to look at the bird with concern and hold it close to his face.
In avian, it goes, I said orc.
I look back to Sabert and grin and say, yes. That's it. Just yes.
Saber, you hear it like cutely just chirp. Beep.
Yeah.
But in avian, it's going like, it was a murderous and horrifying sight that roared across across the sky. Their war cries, it's going on. But you just heard, meep meep.
Oh, yeah. I'm real convinced. Well, y'all, I think we've probably taken up enough of this barkeep's time. I mean, what do y'all reckon we should do next? I personally would love to find a way into this keep, but I don't know that we really got a good way to get in it.
I have a question actually concerning that exact thing, Siebert. What can you tell us about the tower that is outside of town? It's from the old days, the better times. Probably the watchtower, probably connected to the rest of the, it's connected to the defense system. I'm thinking that might be an easier route to go investigate that tower, and there may be something underneath it that would lead us down to the underground.
Oh,
what I'm asking for is it guarded? Is that tower in use? What is the story of that watchtower?
Oh, you mean the old ancient stone watchtower halfway between the McEwen farm and the keep along the road?
Indeed,
that sounds right.
It's it is in fact ancient. Some say it predates the old Kingdom of Light, even into the ancient times of the Elder Ones. It's an old stone tower. I don't know who owns it, but no one hardly goes there. The property's overgrown. The top of the tower is ruined, and the Baroness has not either had the funds or seen fit to rebuild it into something that could be useful for the barony.
What do you think, guys?
I think that it'd be a good thing to check out, but we ought to do that in the morning.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, I wonder. This is we could probably just look out like a window or something once we get up to the second floor here and just see if there's any lights on it. Like it's only going to be like a mile distant at most, perhaps less.
It's a good point because you're on a river, so you're in a river valley. So looking up into the night, you see utter pitch black as even the farmsteads are not lit with lantern light or fire. You see no fires or anything. The whole thing is about, again, like 2 miles across. So no, you don't see any lights coming from it in the night. Let me see here. Ricio, he says, if you've come to help us, you might check in with Sheriff Bolin in the morning. The guard of the barony, Sheriff Bolin, he was appointed the sheriff of the village by the Baroness. They haven't been able to turn anything up or make any progress in finding out about the missing people.
Where's he put his office?
Just here in town, and it's just after you enter the palisade, during the main where the guard towers are. It's the first building on the right, the guardhouse.
Well, how about we? I don't know about you, but my dogs are barking, and between the whiskey and the pie, I'm about ready to turn in. Let's try to get an early morning of it.
I agree.
All right.
What say you, Siebert?
Sounds good to me.
Log?
Yes. I'm going to ask one more question. As he's going to stand up, you said there was a gnome at one of the tables?
Yeah, there's a gnome. Let's see here.
A gnome sitting with a tiefling.
He has the gnome. He is dressed very well. He's got like a little, like those 19th century kind of white things with whatever you call it, a tie where it doesn't fold down. I don't know, but he's got that.
Cravat?
A cravat. Thank you. Yes, exactly. And then he's got the like a suit top, and except for a little gnome, and he looks sickly, pale, almost bordering on blue complexion.
Okay, well I'm gonna waddle over to them, and then
A
I'm
literal
going
blue
to
blood.
I'm gonna bow as I approach the table. Say, I hope you're enjoying your evening.
He's startled at first. Ah! As this big mossy thing towers over him, and he's like, "Oh, oh, uh, oh my! Are you one of those forest people? Are you a Sylvan person? A person of the wood of the fairy?"
I was at one time.
I don't know how someone changes, but, well, I suppose those fairies change all the time. I want to hear all about it. Will you sit with us, please? Please. He motions toward the last remaining chair.
I agree. But I say I'll trade my stories for yours.
Okay. At this, the tiefling,
Whoa.
your bird, will not come near the table, by the way.
Hmm.
It stays perched nearby, and when you ask it, and if you ask it in, avian to come to you, it chirps back in reply, "I'm not coming near that woman." And you can see a tattoo on the tiefling's neck of a bird skull.
Bird
Suspiciously
murderer.
Bird murderer. This is what the campaign's about now. Bird murderers. This is what we do now.
Do I
We gotta do
recognize
something
such a
about
marking?
this.
I'm sorry.
That sounds arcane almost.
Does such a marking actually have significance to me?
Probably not. Well, let me see here.
By any chance, is this a wizardry thing? I actually have a background as a wizard's apprentice. Would I know something magely about this?
Yeah, probably that's more akin to what this is. She is probably it's probably a kind of curse. Now, there are things that can make she could literally be it could be something where she has a magical antipathy with all bird kind, or you don't know, but there are things like that, or maybe she does have to murder all the birds or something. I don't know. But anyways, that being said, you can ask her about it log if you want, or you if you look over Rex, you could share that information later. But as for her part, she just she gets up once this huge shambling figure comes over and sits down, and the chair creaks under your weight, log, and she says, "Well, it was good speaking to you again, Franklin, and I wish you the best. I think that it's time to head home. It's well past dark." And Franklin says, "Oh yes, I'm sorry, Alicia. A very good evening to you."
I hope I haven't offended you in any way.
Oh no, not at all. And it's just that it is very late. I hope you understand. But I will tell you that Franklin here is a wonderful conversationalist. She smiles.
I nod agreeably and return to her conversation with Franklin.
Now, as soon as she walks off, your Blossom eagerly rejoins you, but is shaking a little bit on your shoulder.
Okay. I pet them with my finger and try to soothe them. I'm going to ask Franklin, what does she do?
Oh, um, you mean Alicia? Elisha.
Yes.
She is a make sure I don't have this incorrect.
I was just going to. What I'm doing is dumb. I just thought I'd kill some time while like if you're. I was going to turn to Sabert and comment on the finery of the gnome's clothes. I mean, it's like Do you notice you notice the stitching? It's really expertly done. I mean, it's a beautiful garment. That's all I'm saying. It's just beautiful. It's really well tailored. Quality.
I didn't know you had an eye for such things. It's pretty nice. You're not wrong.
I take notice of things.
Nice. You take another luck token if you're not already topped off. Yeah. Uh, meanwhile, Log, he says, Alicia is she's a crofter. She's a small tenant farmer, and she goes about caring for the beds and flowers and small gardens here in town, trying to gain some coin. And the music and the crowds died down. The other two, they've already left. You know, the scoundrels, they've scampered off since then. Unless you want to like handcuff them or something and turn them into the sheriff or something, I don't know. But
the sheriff's been ignoring him. We probably just put him in a recovery position and just left him.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
I think the embarrassment enough should be enough punishment. I think.
nice. Anyways, he says it's terribly sad what happened to her mother, and since she lost her mother and lost her business, she's just doing anything she can to try to get some money, you know, just to get by. That's terribly sad.
What happened to her mother?
She went missing. Unfortunately, her will and estate has not been hasn't been, there's nothing that establishes Alicia's claim to her estate of her mother. It's possible that Alicia was adopted, you see. It's hard to say with tieflings, but either way, she's unable to prove it under barony law. I tried to help her. I'm a solicitor, you see. The solicitor, in fact, for the barony. I provide my services, what I can, to the people here and the folk that come through and the travelers. If anyone needs anything worked out, I stay here in the village. But I tried to help her reestablish her mother's business and estate, but I couldn't do it. There was no way for her to prove that she was her mother's daughter. And her mother went missing, and no one knows where she's gone.
Do we know how long she's been missing?
Yes, she's been gone for about 3 months now.
So you handle the estates around here. I'm going to walk up to the table now since I was at the bar before.
Oh, and then he sees like this big towering half-orc now, and he's like, oh, hello.
Hello. First off, I would just like to say that is a lovely cravat.
Oh, why, thank you. Oh. And he adjusts it. He's very flattered. Let me see what that... What's your charisma also?
I don't know that it's great, honestly. Let me see.
I think we're all at...
Oh, it's at 10.
I think we're all at 0 modifiers except for logs.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong.
All right. Yeah. Well, he appreciates the comment, but then he says, he beams with pride at your a compliment, but then he says, "How can I help you, sir?"
I heard you mention that you handle the estates here. Perhaps you could tell us something about the watchtower out on the in the distance.
Oh,
who owns it? Who occupies it?
A point of correction. I'm actually a solicitor. I don't manage the estates directly. That is actually the responsibility of. Let me get you the name because he would know.
Yeah, we're getting deep into small town politics now.
Yeah, we are.
That would be Master Sprague. Master Sprague at the keep has been given direct authority to manage estates and warrants and things of that nature. And the knight of the keep. I guess I keep this Actually. Sir Hathbert helps to administer things like that. But what I do is I help interpret the ancient laws. You see, when the king came to power, he established a continuation of existing laws. There's some discussion. He goes on now about this for a while. He's like, yeah, there's going to be tax reforms, and there was, and everything like that. But he basically he's like the guy that can do paperwork, which is a rare thing, and in particular, it helps traders and people that are able to come through, interface between the cities and the kingdoms, and meet trade laws and taxes and stuff like that.
Well, guys, do you think we should, Rex, you had mentioned retiring and maybe getting a fresh start, I think is
Now, I want to circle back to Log, though, because you wanted to ask him things, so I don't feel like, I don't think we resolved that.
I just want to, glean any information that he knows, especially dealing with the matters firsthand of dealing with missing persons. If he knows anything about the rumors about where they've gone or why they've been missing or anything.
Well, he goes first, and he basically lays out on the table, and you notice that his skin is this weird bluish tint, and he is looks kind of sickly as a gnome. But he basically, because you're a fairy creature, and he keeps circling back to that, even though you're like, I'm not a fairy creature anymore. He feels that what this place really needs is a performance, and he has heard of a resurgence of artists in the past 2 years, like artists and bards and minstrels and jesters and all kinds of things, and he wants to create a traveling entertainment troupe and retire. And because you're a fairy, he's like, get me in touch with the fairies. That's basically what he tells you.
All right.
there's nothing like elven singing in the spring.
I think Log kind of rolls his eyes at such topic, but he thanks him for the company, and yeah, at the point he's going to give up.
All right.
We'll
Well, you
also
can
retire
roll a
early.
d20. That's just what he was asking you. But if you ask him
okay.
about things, yeah, he'll.
Is this like a charisma check then?
Yeah. If you have a charisma modifier, you can add it to the d20.
Yeah, I have a +2.
Okay.
17.
17. You ask like what's going on, like the missing persons, the conspiracies, like what's going on in this place, like you're trying to.
Yeah.
Okay. He says, well, if you ask me, those are Kaji, that they call them, the river folk. They're not from around here. Very strange that their city just appeared out of nowhere. And they started coming up and down these rivers, and they've been causing problems ever since. And I'll just be honest and say it. I think it might very well be them. And I have heard, that they steal. They keep boats and they ply the river, and they steal from people like pirates, river pirates. And that they have some sort of base somewhere to the north of here. One time, I heard someone in here saw it through the trees off the river. They were doing river trade, and they said that they saw something in the woods. And I bet that's that river pirate base.
How long have the river pirates been a problem?
About 6 months, maybe. Well, I guess when I think about it, longer than that. They've just gotten worse. In fact, I remember reports of people being mugged and things stolen on the river, and boats getting attacked going all the way back, well, Probably the second year after the kingdom was established, after her grace returned. So come to think of it, I guess it couldn't just be the river folk.
Yeah, maybe it's a more recent development.
Or a more ancient one.
Or something in between. But
log shutters.
But because he's saying that like there's these two cities. There's because we talked about this, came up somewhere. I think maybe you just are aware of this. There's the city of Wayrest that like appeared, and then there's this other city called Bardsgate, and it's like appeared, and that's like a strange happening that has happened in the past year. And these river folk are like this like nomadic river people that come from Bardsgate, and they've appeared in the last year. But
So
then
predated them.
Yeah, so when he thinks about it, because the Baroness, she came back about a year after the war, which is about 3 years ago.
Right.
When we say appeared, are we thinking like that they moved in and set up shop, or that it was sort of like the portals that we get pulled through, where the whole city just
The city literally just appeared.
literally?
Yeah, literally.
Wow. Guess that's the kind of thing you gotta get used to around here. And Rex is kind of like circulating towards where the party's center of gravity seems to be maneuvering towards.
Yeah, things just
Just,
appear and disappear, seems.
Mhm. So you say there's a hidden. You say that someone saw the hidden. Where about how far from here do you reckon that they would have been when they saw it? Maybe it's something we could track down, or maybe it's far away.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Do you think that about how far from here would you reckon, based on your secondhand knowledge, that pirate base was seen?
Yeah, and with that in mind, as he's answering the question, we did see the footsteps towards some type of building. Is that the fortification that he's been talking about?
Footsteps.
I think the footsteps went into the woods to the north.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have no idea where they went after that.
Yeah, he says they were talking of the area where the trees get thick, which is actually the forest area where you came in, but you weren't.
Yeah.
You didn't come in via the river. You came in via the forest. But about a mile north of here, and then on the far side of the river, meaning on the opposite side, not on the near side. Not yeah.
Yeah, I mean, remember those toadies? They have an ancient place somewhere back in those woods that they've been guarding, a temple, which we're aware of because of our new friend, the toad.
Perhaps they might be responsible for the piracy, and people are just kind of pointing towards the Kaji instead. Oh, you probably know whether you get held up by a frog or not.
All right.
Saber, I'm waiting for one of your frog jokes.
Hop to it.
I think I'm out. I've got too much whiskey in me. I'm all hopped up.
Hey.
All right.
This is when we start to
we're
really
not
see the
topping that.
warts in this group,
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay,
There it is.
that's minus 2 luck tokens from the DM. All right. Yeah. So you guys gonna settle in for the night?
Yeah, let's get some sleep in me.
All right. You do that. You awaken the next day to the bustling, wrong one, village of Lornedain. And the sun rises.
Hang on, I might need to refresh. Oh, never mind. It finished loading.
Me too. It's taking its time. And sun rises. There it goes. Now,
Yawning awake and thinking like theoretically we could try to get passage across the river and then make our way north on foot. check this thing out. But that might be a lower priority than other issues. Still, if we know there's a pirate base, might be a reasonable guess that they're responsible for kidnappings. No.
I was just gonna kind of set the scene and describe what you see around you, in case there's anything you want to kind of pick at there. The sun rises. It is a beautiful fall day. It's unseasonably temperate and kind to be this close, far to the south in the forest of the Vale. And you can see...
Smell those trees. That's the real beauty, folks.
Hog lifts up his arm and sniffs his underarm. I didn't think it was too bad.
Oh, you're a beautiful, beautiful specimen, Log. Beautiful specimen.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, Log is
Actually, kind of looks at it and it's like, so anyway.
Some sort of gift from the Earth Mother. I guess as we're kind of coming at our table in the morning, as probably coming down from waking up and whatnot, I would have done my morning prayers and all that good stuff. I would probably start just by kind of gathering the group and just sort of saying, y'all, I've been thinking on everything we kind of learned last night, and I think I agree with Derek that watchtower probably should be one of our first major stops. What do y'all think?
Yeah, it seems reasonable. Apparently, in order to find out who owns it, we'd have to go all the way back to the keep. But so it'd probably be faster to just try walking into the tower and see who stops us.
That
If
was
anyone.
kind of what I was thinking. I mean, if it's as overgrown as they say, I'm pretty well versed in herbs and such. We could just say we're there to study something and play the
Yeah, me
fool
too.
if somebody tries to stop us.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. We could keep asking people questions, but I think at this point, going out and keeping eyes on it is going to make more sense.
Would I agree. I think it's a good plan. Is there any reason that we would want to stop by the sheriff's office just to let them know that we're in town, we're legit, and we're gonna be in and out of the village conducting our investigation?
Given the
I
warm
don't see why not. We'll be heading right past there.
Well, given the warm welcome we got at the keep, I don't know that I really want to meddle with local law unless we can avoid it.
Yeah, I think just as a courtesy, like saying, hey, we don't want to step on your toes here. But I mean, you could be right. Maybe it's better just to ignore him or avoid him.
He's going to find out about us eventually. It'd be more
Honestly,
respectful to
we
announce
literally
our
been
presence.
hired to step on his toes. That's what we're kind of here to intervene, right? So, I do
It's
think
too late
it's a
to
good
fly
idea.
under his radar. We arrived here at, whatever the local... I'm trying to think of a different way to phrase that. So I think you keep using modern aphorisms. It's too late to avoid his notice. We arrived in a carriage. Better to be
Right.
respectful and announce our presence officially.
Right, I agree. Let's just
Well,
have
let's
a
be quick about it.
Yeah.
formal greet.
So, outside in the village, you can see that there are about 15 different buildings here. You can see a guardhouse, a granary, clearly what is a boat right along the coast. Small little waifs sticking out into the water in places. Fishmongers working, pulling in fish, working the fish that has been pulled in. A blacksmith. You can smell its heat. You can see the smoke rising. It's clear here there's an apothecary. And then something interesting or odd compared to the other buildings, which are mostly made of wood and daub and thatch and things like that. There is a stone dome building. It's surrounded with beautiful collections of garden plants and vines, and is open. There's no door. And additionally, you can see people outside. There were 8. They're doing laundry, cleaning game and fish. and going about their daily lives. If you want to visit one of those places, this is the guardhouse over here. I can either point them out, or you can tell me which of those places you might be interested in, or if you want to hit the road.
I'd say we try to get moving as quickly as possible. We don't know if we're under a time limit yet.
Yeah, I think we should absolutely move. I mean, group consensus.
The dome building covered in plants seems very interesting, but it also seems like not urgent.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, with that dome building, would either I or Log recognize any of the stuff about it as like an Earth Mother or Grass Mother situation?
Yeah, let's say that you poke over the side and gaze down this alleyway down at this domed building. You can see that while it's a house-sized structure, it appears ancient. And it is it has a small stone moat also that circles down in front of it, and a small stone bridge leading into this ancient domed building covered in vine. It is very likely that this is a shrine to some sort of nature god.
I think we'd probably leave it alone for now. Guys still planning on kind of hitting the guard tower first and then trying to head out?
Yeah, I don't
may
need.
glance around quickly for parts for my herbalism. As a ranger, I have class features in herbalism.
All right.
I'm not totally sure how that works, to be totally honest. But if possible, if I could have enough for like a curative, that'd be great.
Ah, okay, so you're looking for herbs nearby that could form like a medicine?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you do think that shrine probably has things on it, but then you would also be plucking it from a shrine.
Maybe later.
So to the guardhouse, is that
Yeah,
where
potentially.
to announce yourself? Is that the plan?
Is
Yes,
it
to the
possible
sheriff.
that? Oh, sorry. Is it possible that we hit the guardhouse? Like real briefly, and then we're just there to let our presence be known, and then like skedaddle, right?
No threat having presented itself, the horsemen have since long left near dawn. Guards, however, still man the palisade and the trenches outside. And when you come into the guardhouse, it seems that the sheriff isn't present. And for a brief moment, you find yourself in the guardhouse. This is just going to be the generic, you're in a building splat, so just so you know.
Sure.
In the guardhouse, you find yourself momentarily alone. You suspect only for a brief moment. It seems like perhaps someone stepped out. I'll describe what you see here. You can see that there's a desk and several bookshelves filled with ledgers, writs, licenses, bonds paid and due, executions, arrests, things like that. All the paperwork of the village of Lornedain is here. And a suit of chainmail, a shield, a heavy mace, and a pair of boots, all with an emblem that you take to be perhaps somebody's house or something, emblazoned on a surcoat hanging on a rack. Yeah, you probably only have moments before somebody would presumably come right back in,
I don't intend to steal anything, and that seems like the only thing we'd have an opportunity to do. So, aside from that, I guess we wait a little while, but Rick just read a note.
I
Yeah.
would like to take a moment to take a deep breath and see if I can smell or see or notice anything magical or peculiar.
Okay. Are you casting a spell, or are you just generally trying to?
I'm just trying to vibe it out. Like, hey, is there anything really weird here going on?
Yeah, you do have the scout feature. So why don't you go ahead and do a DC 12 at advantage wisdom or intelligence check. Nice.
Yeah, I got a nat 20.
Yeah, you do notice something. So this is the office that you see. It's clearly the sheriff's office. As you come into this building, you can see that it connects in this this larger complex. It's one of the largest buildings in the village. There are other things here. Okay, there's an armory, and seeing through bars, you can see locked cabinets. Probably carry plates of or sets of armor and weapons and things like that. Beyond that, off to the side along a short hallway, you can see the jail. And as you glance back, you take it in and you notice you can see in the jail, a jail cell. These cells are 10 foot by 10 foot. And you can see that there's a bucket on the floor of each cell and straw that's been laid down. It's very rudimentary. The bars are iron wrought. Each of them have a big sturdy iron lock on them. And there's a lit torch because there's no what do you call it? There's no windows. Yeah, so it has a sconce, and there is a guard back there, okay, toward the end, and it's like the person that's been put on guard for the jail cells. And you can see in one of the cells that is empty a tapestry, and now this tapestry is like big and heavy, and hangs like heavily as the wall itself. But it hangs in the back side of one of the cells, and it depicts a coat of arms. You would know this as the coat of arms of Lornedain itself. But there is a bulge along the center of the tapestry.
Oh, odd to hang a tapestry in a jail cell, is it not?
Yeah.
Someone's hiding behind it.
And I mean to say that it's, and when I say a bulge, like more, maybe I should say indention, meaning like just slightly raised, like a bump, you know? And it's so big and heavy that it almost would otherwise just meld into the wall. But yes, it is still strange.
Perhaps it extends far enough from the wall that a bird might fly underneath.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to toss
They're
the
looking at the
Blossom
bird.
down the aisleway, see if she can get back there and see what's up.
All right, you see a bird just, and then you hear a guard in the back go, "Oh, the damn birds again!" Blah, blah, blah. And then, but he can't see from his line of sight into the cell, and so Blossom like comes and she lands like and holds next to the tapestry, and she looks back at you all like, "You want me to go in here?"
Mm-hmm.
And then she like wiggles her way in and like flaps. You see like the tail and feathers like flapping out from underneath the tapestry, and then kind of worms her way in, and then all of a sudden, boop, and she disappears. Now, can you talk to her telepathically, or is it? You just speak avian? I think is what it is, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I believe you're a witch?
Yes.
I believe
know how that
that
works.
it's a telepathic link.
Oh, is it?
I think so. I mean, I don't, you know.
Yeah, we'll go for it. I mean,
Doesn't say here. It just says that I have a small familiar which speaks common.
if it speaks,
and-
then it speaks. Then we'll say,
Yes.
yeah, it's not telepathic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't know it spoke
But it does speak
common. That's
common.
that's a whole other story. I thought
Hmm.
it couldn't speak common, so that's another.
Yeah,
Thing.
it says you have a familiar who speaks common. It can be the source of your spells, and if it dies, I can spend my own hit points to recover it.
Now you can still
Yeah,
cast
it's pretty,
spells.
it's pretty bad if you lose her.
You can still cast spells where she is, though, so there's that. But anyways, yeah, it seems like she just like poop and then disappeared underneath the tapestry.
Is the bulge still there though, or the intention?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess we got to just wait for her to return then, because other than demanding entry into the cell, we can't really do anything about it.
Mm.
Seems like that tapestry is covering up either a portal or a secret door.
Like an entryway into the underworld, or not necessarily not the underworld, but the
Oh.
So are
Maybe
catacombs.
the underworld.
are
maybe
you
the
all,
underworld. I mean, can't rule anything out.
Are you all gonna?
Well, Rex is just kind of like making a little note, just saying that like this is an official announcement that adventurers of Parenthal have arrived, and I do a little drawing of an official dagger as if that's proof.
Well, this all happens in a matter of like 20 seconds, like everything we've talked about here.
Okay.
But I want to know before time passes, is the plan to wait? Like you're gonna wait here?
Do we see in all the belongings of the sheriff a key of rings, a ring of keys?
No. Yeah,
Okay.
as lackadaisical as it is, which it is apparent to you that is, to just simply leave this office open and unguarded, they did not just leave the keys out, yeah. But also, I'm sorry, if you're asking that because of the cell is open because it's empty.
Oh, I didn't know it was open. Okay.
Yeah, although
Do
the
we
door is
wanna
open,
just-
but at the end of the hall is a guard guarding what
Yeah.
people
Do
are.
we want to just run past that guard and just go see what's over there?
Well, let's just walk up and
Like-
introduce
like-
ourselves. We'll
like
be
ex-
like, hello,
like
is anyone
excited
here?
little
Oh,
children.
you're the one person in here, so by default, you're in charge, right?
Right. I agree.
We'll just approach and just be like, hello, is anyone here? Oh,
Okay.
hello there.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. So you go into the hall and introduce yourself to the guard.
Sure, why not?
Okay, no problem. So
I'm running my thumbs through my belt loops.
okay, you
Oh,
go back.
hello.
Yeah,
There is someone here.
you go back to the hall, and he's down at the end of the hall and sitting in a simple wooden chair, and you say that, and he goes, "Oh, hello," and he stands up to his feet and he says, "Sheriff Boland should be back just in a moment. I believe he was saying farewell to a patrol."
Well, if he doesn't show up within the next couple of seconds, I mean, we're burning daylight here, so we thought we would just roll in and officially announce our presence so that this is not considered unusual. We're adventurers of Parenthal. I whip out the dagger that demonstrates that this is true. I quickly shove it back into its sheath.
He's amazed, but at that you hear someone stepping through the door behind you.
Oh, all right.
It's a
Oh, the man himself.
indeed. He is a more portly, middle-aged man. He does not look very athletic. And he steps through the open door and he says, "Hello there. What can I help you with?"
I give him essentially the same pitch
Same
as
thing.
before. We're here officially announcing our presence, just so that you're not surprised by this or feel that there's anything undue. Just letting you know we're here, trying to help. We'll make our services available, do what we can. We're just on our way out, though, so we can't stick around and chit-chat too long.
Let's see.
And you'd be Sheriff Boland, is that correct?
That's right, I am. Please, well, I don't have anywhere for you to sit. But you said that you don't have long, but I'm very happy to see you. And he wrings his hands. He's like, I hope that maybe you could help us with this matter.
Well, I suppose while we're here, I might as well hear your own perspective on it. Tell us more.
But before I do, you say you're from the kingdom of Parenval. Is that right? You're adventurers of Parenval? The dagger. Could I see
That's
that? Could I take a look at it?
Pull it out with a flourish and hand it over handle first.
It's clear that his eyes have become weakened with age, and he glares closer at it, and he says, Okay, forgive me, but there have been people about pretending to be adventurers of Perrinval, and it's been a nuisance. So,
Well,
Yeah.
that's the first problem we solved. I can,
Yeah.
though most of the credit goes to my friend here, Derek.
oh, indeed. Well, I hope that you didn't rough them up too bad. But welcome to
Don't live.
Lornedain.
Haha.
Uh,
I just gotta flip the dagger and grab it by the handle and shove it back in with a Dex 17 flourish.
he looks startled. You know, it's clear he doesn't know what to do with a dagger, and he says, I'm Sheriff Bolin, and I serve Her Grace Lornedain, Lady Lornedain, Eora Lornedain, and if you're in a hurry, I could let you know that what I know so far, and I should let you know that there is a bounty. If
A
you,
I'm
bounty
interested in
on,
those. Tell us
a
more.
bounty on what?
well, if you can actually help us find missing people, I assume you were sent here for that purpose. The
That's right.
the barony has offered 50 gold pieces and 100 gold pieces per person if you can find them alive or dead.
Well, that's what we're here to do.
Oh, that's excellent news. I'm very relieved. And he gets...
Is it 50 dead, 100 alive? Is that what I heard?
No, 50 for any information.
Oh, okay.
And 100 if you find someone alive or dead.
I would like to saunter really towards the open cell where the tapestry is, and as I do so, I'm going to say, "This is really a magnificent looking tapestry. I mean, the colors, the stitching.
That's awesome.
What can
What's
you
he doing
tell
in the
me
cell?
about it?" As I walk into the cell towards the tapestry.
Yeah, he looks at you do that, and he doesn't have a problem with it. But let me see here. Maybe... What about this one? Is this weird? This weird music? As you do that, two things happen. First of all, you said you touch it. You kind of like appraise it, you know. Kind of.
I haven't touched it yet. I'm sort of standing in front of it, doing like this.
Well, I still think this would work.
But now I'll grab hold of the edge of it and,
Yeah.
and check the seam.
With that, well, three things happen when you say you check the seam. The first thing is, by checking the seam, a little bird goes and then like desperately flies back and to log, and is like, I was trapped, I can breathe, and is freaking out because it got stuck underneath the tapestry. You can feel an air current. And you also can feel that the bulge is not an object. This small indention where it's just pressed out slightly in the center, that's not something underneath it. That is a difference in pressure, and it is hollow back there. This conceals a passageway. The third thing that you see is the guard eyes you, and you see a look of suspicion on his face. Blossom, when she comes back to you, Log, she whispers in your ear and she says, "That was a passageway. It leads into caverns under the earth."
We could save ourselves a trip to the tower, boys.
I give
Wow.
her some bread.
That's
as a
fortuitous and more than a little weird, if I'm going to be honest.
And meanwhile, set aside the weird stuff here. Back to normal. Here we go. Everything's fine here. Meanwhile, the sheriff, Sheriff Bolin, he's sifting through his notes, and he says, "If you wanted to start the investigation, I would recommend the McEwen farmstead. That's the most clear-cut case of missing persons. The entire farmstead is vacant. We don't know what happened to the McEwens."
And that's the halfway point between the tower and the keep.
That's right.
Is it?
Yeah, I think I remember that name being mentioned in the proximity of the tower. Or am I misunderstanding?
No, I think you're right.
So we're just gonna
Yeah, I think I
ignore
heard
the
that
fact that
in
there's
the-
a secret passageway to ancient caverns here.
I do think that I'm not really sure how to float that. The fact that there's a huge tunnel leading into a jail cell where you presumably don't want there to be a tunnel. So
So I guess my piece
Kinda like
of it,
peek behind it.
so Eric found it, and you've kind of seen it and kind of witnessed that, right? And then the birds kind of come back to log. How like obvious is it at this point? I mean, is this more of a Durek log kind of thing that y'all know, or like would me and Rex kind of be clued in by this point?
Yeah, so good point, but I think you can see all this going on, but I want to clarify that something that you see is the guard has very much taken an interest in this and has stood up and in fact tells Durek, excuse me, sir, I have to ask you to get out of that jail cell. There's no telling what some of our prisoners have done in these places. That tapestry's been there forever. You're right, it's quite beautiful, but I'd like to ask you to move away from it, please.
Absolutely, I don't mean to offend. Gentlemen, perhaps we should step outside and head off to the tower.
All right.
The sheriff goes,
I'm
The-
gonna side eye Durek, and then I'd like to come close to him and whisper, and say, "Are we not gonna address this? I think we should blatantly
Perhaps outside.
call this out." Okay. He nods.
Let's get some sun on you.
Sheriff, when you say the tower, he's like, oh, you're going to go, why would you go to the old tower? You mean the old, that old stone tower?
Well, my understanding is that that's where the farmhouse is, where the people came up missing. So we're just heading in that direction. I only used the tower as a cardinal direction.
Right. I see what you mean. Well, then he goes over behind the desk where the paperwork is, and he sits down, and he kicks his feet up, and he says, I've got some important business to do, if you don't mind. He leans
Yes,
back.
we'll take no more of your time, sir. Once outside, there's something up here, guys. Right?
I just kind of glance around, having like heard about 3/4 of that and seen about 3/4 of that, and going like, was there really just a big tunnel behind the jail cell?
Mm.
That's the damnedest thing I ever seen.
And Log, did you say that is it Blossom?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Reported, yeah, so there's tunnels back there. How far did she go down?
I think she got stuck, but she could tell that it was a passage.
She did not get stuck. She can
Oh.
tell you about the passage. In fact, she tells you, do you want her to speak in common or speak in a cipher like avian to you, or how does this work? Just talk
No, I
openly?
mean,
like-
if they can talk
Walk
openly
somewhere
to
where
the
we can't be
group.
easily overheard, and then
Exactly. I think as I want to spread the information with my friends and with nobody else.
Okay. All right. So, in that case, Blossom speaks openly in common. She says, yeah, it was dark and I couldn't see and, but I could feel air currents. It was a big stone tunnel. It felt as if the pathways and the floor had been trodden long ago, as if people had come and gone through there for a long time, but long ago, a well-carved, well-established tunnel, stone cavern all around, and it went on for a long ways into the darkness. And then I was trying to get back out. It was really scary.
So, is there a consensus on this, guys? Do we think that
I feed Blossom a tiny piece of bread.
She eats it. You get a luck token.
Yay. I'm top dog.
Well, I mean, just because there's a tunnel beneath a jail cell, I mean, that somebody, you saw how they just left the guardhouse open. Maybe they had a really just not paying enough attention to a prisoner, and they just spent a lot of time digging or something. I don't know.
But the barkeep
Seems a
did
little
say that
far-fetched.
the
Shit.
barkeep said that
You
they
don't
think
believe
that
that,
that's where everyone
Saber.
went. So
The barkeep said
If
what,
we
Jake?
haven't already left town, we could.
I was just saying that the barkeep said that that they think that everyone is missing through those tunnels, right? So if this is an entry point, I think we need to just address it and be like, hey, why are you trying to hide this tunnel here? Like, because I mean, do we know that they know it's there? I mean, we assume that the way that the demeanor of the guard changed, that they know that exists, or maybe they're literally just protective of the tapestry. I don't know.
And the sheriff
if they
didn't
were
seem to care at
protect-
all. You know, he was just like, yeah, go on in there and talk about it, whatever you want. You know, he didn't care.
If they were
Correct.
protective of the tapestry, they wouldn't leave it in a jail cell.
Yeah.
It's
And rushing Durek out of there the way they did, there's no way they don't know it's there.
the guard seems like he knows what's there. The sheriff might not actually know. He might be clueless.
That's what
He
I'm
does seem
thinking.
close.
Seemed a little close.
All right.
Question
I-
is what we do about it.
I would get a. I mean, obviously, let's take a vote. But it seems like maybe we hold that ace. You know, that we know. I don't know about confronting them about it right now.
What
I
if
think maybe we stick to the original plan and check out the tower, and then we know
Yeah.
that this is a way to get into. If the tower turns out to be a bust, and there's no way down into the tunnels that we seek, we know that we can try this place later,
Right.
if we need to, without showing our hand too quickly. Not to make two poker references in one analogy.
No, it makes sense.
Like,
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
yeah, I like that. One point of inquiry that I had that I thought randomly: what kind of bird is Blossom?
Good question. I believe I picked like a golden finch.
Golden finch. He had mentioned the tower as a cardinal direction, and it got me thinking about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You lose a luck token.
Saber with the puns again.
Oh my god, it's just how I'm geared. I can't help it.
Alright, I always
So
want to throw this out there.
as we were walking around this this guard tower, sorry, not the tower, the guardhouse, we didn't see anything like too obviously suspicious on that side of the building, presumably,
No?
because there must be like some space there that it can turn downwards. So like, wow, it's pretty elegantly made, whatever it is.
I just want to throw
Built
this
into
out there
the
as an
side of a
idea.
rock face or something.
We could get the sheriff to come outside, and we could literally just tell him what we found, and maybe ask him questions about his guard or deputy or whatever. And maybe, because if he is clueless, maybe telling him about it. Like, my initial thought here is maybe the guard is in cohorts with whatever is causing the problem, and maybe they're new, or maybe they have their own reason for the sheriff trusting them. But I think if we could get them outside and separated from each other, we could maybe interrogate him a little bit about it.
Questionable. That tunnel's certainly not new. They didn't install that last week.
Right.
Yeah.
But if the tapestry has been there for forever, and this sheriff is blind in his old age and passive by nature, then maybe he just doesn't. He's just never connected the dots there. But I think he would probably be alluded to it whenever you put a prisoner in there and they're gone the next day. But I don't know.
Well, I don't think they're keeping prisoners in there, though. The cell door was
Yeah,
open.
that's just a front.
So it seems highly unlikely that he wouldn't know about it. Maybe he's just playing really dumb, but the guard maybe isn't so savvy. That's a possibility.
Is the guardhouse where they sleep? Did we see cots in there, or is it just an office?
Actually, so there are several locations inside this larger building. So the guardhouse consists
Okay,
of
so there's probably beds.
a jail cell, an armory, an office, and a barracks. But you would be able to surmise this, but this picture is actually useful for this purpose. If you imagine you enter and you have like an office and a place where you can interface with the law, and then you have like a place where you can go up the stairs, and it has a second story, a loft area that would be the barracks.
So trying to sneak in when they're not watching would be a little suspicious, would be a little risky.
Yeah, but if we could find a window on the second floor or something where I could send Blossom in, we might be able to do more investigating too. But yeah, I agree. Let's just go check out the guard tower for now.
For now, let's just check the guard tower just because I want to see what's up.
All right. So do you exit the village of Lornedain and go to the guard tower?
Yeah.
Oh, very well. You exit out the front gates, and you re-enter the wilds of the barony of Lornedain. It is midday, and let's see here.
Looks like it's going to be approx 0.8 miles to get there.
Yeah.
Give or take.
You can see it from where you are, in fact. There are old fields that once would have housed crops and grains and things, much of which is rotted in the autumn untended. As a ranger, you would know this spells great peril, even perhaps more so than the monsters, or untended fields and unfilled granaries with the coming winter. This crisis could be an existential threat for that reason alone. But you can see where the tower is. Do you take like the road and then go across the farm, or do you like go up the intersection and just follow the road in?
Let's follow the road in, that northerly path.
Does that sound good to y'all? So it takes about...
Perhaps on the way back, we can take the other route and check out that farmhouse, because that's probably the McEwins.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
But I definitely want to check out the tower while there's daylight. Yeah, we'll check out the McEwins on the way back. Oh, it's probably just going to be an abandoned farmhouse.
Okay, yeah, you...
We can find a clue, though.
It's only about 3/4 of a mile, and you're able to make it to the tower. This is, in fact, very ancient stone that you see here. It's sturdy, perfectly fitted, but the tower now, in its ancient age, has taken on a near 15-degree tilt. It doesn't look like there's any obvious ground floor entrance from where you can see, but you can see open archways 20 feet off the ground. And it does look like the tower is at least partially hollow at this point. Otherwise, you see nothing else in the you see nothing else in the rocky approach to it, except for crows that sit atop it and stare down at you with black-eyed ambivalence.
So there's no visible entrance to the tower at all?
There is no visible entrance to the tower at ground level. It does look like it's hollow, and the rocky edge to the hollow entrance to the top of it is about 20 feet up from where you are. There is a window about 20 feet up, actually, I should note. Let's see if I can reveal that.
I'd like to send Blossom.
I have a technical question. I guess I'm seeing it now. So what we're revealing, because I have mostly black on my screen, and then there's like a kind of a horse leg of visual. Is that everyone seeing that, or is that just my computer?
Yeah, I just see a very limited amount of vision.
Okay.
Calling it a horse leg seems pretty accurate.
I'd like to send Blossom up to the archway and see if they can see any movement.
Ooh,
life.
Careful, there's crows up there. And
yeah, that's a good point.
Crows are smart and fierce.
I didn't want to go all the way up. I always wanted to go to the archway and see if there's anything inside.
While Blossom's attempting that, Rex is going to walk around the perimeter and just kind of poke around, see if there's any kind of non-obvious entrances.
Okay.
Check for secrets.
Check for hidden doors. I mean, literally, though, yeah, I'm looking for hidden doors.
Right. You can make a intelligence check at advantage for secret doors, and meanwhile, while you're doing that, Blossom flies up, looks up there. The crows, they get really territorial and flap their wings and kind of dance in place. They really hate Blossom. Blossom's like, squeaks and then looks down into it and then hurriedly flies back to you and says to everyone, the tower's hollow, but it's just grass inside, except for a wooden trapdoor.
Well, does anyone have a grappling hook? We could just
Meanwhile,
climb inside.
I see a
Roll a
3 and a
16
14.
on that intelligence check.
Okay, nice. So you check around this building, Rex, and you determine that there is definitely a difference in stone here, but there is something unusual about it. It's almost as if it were made for an entrance and then filled in. Your scales lift up slightly when you touch it.
Something arcane, perhaps. Though, given the tilt, can't rule out that there's just a lot of force pushing down through there. But Rex will run his claws around the outside of the door that may or may not have once existed, and try to find out if there's some way to gain entry, or if it has simply just been bricked and mortared right up.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, it seems almost as if it were brick and mortared up. It makes no sense. It feels as if it's all also part of the original stone, as if it weren't added later, which makes no sense. And other than that,
given the mysterious tingle that I feel makes me wonder if my background as a wizard's apprentice might give me some insight as to some kind of magical effect which would produce what we're seeing.
I think it would be both difficult, but you are a wizard's apprentice, so you'll have an advantage. So I'll say you have to pass a DC 16, but at advantage.
That'll be an intelligence check again, I assume.
Yeah, sorry.
There we go. Ooh, no.
You're not able to suss anything out.
Can you
Nope.
spend a luck to reroll?
Sure, if you want to.
Can I do that at this point? All right, yeah, I'm all full up. Here I go.
Yeah, they go away at the end
Do I
of the
reroll
session
both?
anyway.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to use them. I just keep straight up. So does that mean I roll again with advantage or again normal?
But yeah, you just re-roll it, is the way I look at it. Now,
All right, here goes.
the luck token is for advantage, but I mean, but I
All
think
right, well,
I
still
think
no.
I listed it as you can. Anyways, we'll look at it later.
Yeah,
But
they're hit to crit, extra action, GM reroll, or you can go into debt to gain more.
there you go. Unfortunately,
Unless I could do that again. Still no.
no, I think it'll just be one time. Yeah.
Okay. That'd be a little.
I'm gonna say we just all use our
okay.
luck tokens on this.
Yeah,
just keep rolling
nuke
until
for
we
like
get it.
20 luck
that
tokens.
would-
I don't want to
mean-
metagame here, but does anyone have a knock spell?
I don't have any knock spells, no.
Is Bugle still with us? And if so, would he?
Yeah, he's let's see what he's got. He has not got
I like
detect
it.
magic because oh, actually he slept, so he got detect magic back. I forgot about that. Or
No
wait.
knock.
No. He
Wait.
did not get detect magic back. He has to do something cuz he did a critical fail, right? Or no, he didn't
Ooh.
fail. He didn't do a critical fail. He just failed the No, he did, right? He got a 1. And something Yes, I remember this now. He got a 1 cuz he got a 1 and a 20 in the same session.
Yep.
So he's not able to detect magic. He's got charm and sleep. He can't do it.
Well, crud.
And we have to pay this guy?
I mean, he did like completely solve that encounter. So I don't know.
True.
Well, if we have a
well,
grappling hook, we can just
Time to
go
scale the
into
wall.
Yeah.
I've got 60 feet of rope, but to my chagrin, I didn't get the grappling hook. I had to sell it in order to have enough money to get a weapon.
I got a what the heck's it called? I got the kit. I do have a grappling hook.
Okay, great.
All right.
Just twirl that around and throw that in there. Probably takes a couple of tries.
So, the good news and bad news. The good news is it's just one check. That's all you got to do. The bad news is it's just one check. And then time
Is
will
the check
pass.
just,
That's all.
Okay. So is the check just a flat dex roll, normal?
Yes. And you got to beat
Here
a
we go.
12. That's all.
12. Wait, do I have to beat a 12 or is it 12?
I'm
match?
sorry. Meter beat a 12. Yes.
Hey.
All right. You lodge a grappling hook up into the window up here, and you're able to climb up if you all want to.
Sure. I'll go
Let's
go
do
up first and take a peek. I'm lightest, so if it's not firmly seated, it'll hold my weight a little better, and then I can seat it more firmly for the others.
Okay. You come up and you can see into this structure now, which I'm going to reveal to you.
Ooh. What have we here?
And yeah, you see that it's hollow on the inside, and there's a simple wooden trapdoor.
All right, so this whole tower is just here. It looks like it's designed to keep this door hidden and not serve much of a function beyond that.
There's no telling what it was designed for, but that's what it's doing now.
Yeah.
Well, I tie off the rope a little bit more firmly and say like, "All right, here we go. I think it's worth checking out."
Okay.
I will throw down some more rope if I got more length, and scale down on the inside.
20 feet up, 60 feet of rope. We should have plenty.
Okay. Yeah, you do that.
Yep. 60 feet of rope should be fine.
You're able to climb down on the other side. What do you do when you're on the inside?
Well, I think I will wait for the others to get here, just in case, like, a bunch of monsters instantly pop out the second I touch it.
I will follow him up next.
Is everyone going in? Is the intention to get inside the tower? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Everyone gets inside the tower.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone is
Unless
now
someone
inside
said-
the tower. Yep.
Who wants
Okay,
to open?
let's,
Who wants to open that thing?
Well, before we get too crazy, I would like to try to cast Holy Weapon on Durek's sword to kind of like give him some boosted damage, if I can try that.
Sure.
It's DC 11 to cast, and then that'd be a +2 to my
I also
whiz.
have a spell I'd like to cast before we open the door. So if I have a spell with the range of self, does that mean I can only cast it on myself?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'll still
just
cast it
made it.
anyway. I'm going to cast Oak, Ash, and Thorn,
Ooh.
and I
Cool.
have to meet a 10. Actually, it'd be a 8 because I have a +2. So roll 8 or better.
With your
10
bonus,
modifier.
Chris,
Hey!
does that meet an 11 with your bonus?
Yeah, I have a 2, so I rolled a 9, so that puts a DC 11 to cast, so I meet it. And then with that, Durek's weapon becomes magical and has a +1 to attack and damage rolls for 5 rounds.
Nice.
And then I'm
Nice.
casting Oak,
I'll
Ash,
hold
and
it up,
Thorn.
proudly while you're casting the spell, so it, teamwork.
This is your great sword now, is that right?
Yes.
So for the duration, fairies, demons, and devils can't attack you. These beings also cannot possess you, compel you, or beguile you.
Just while we're discussing those, when it says something like 1d6 rounds, so that's going to be like 3 rounds.
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah.
is that
So
more than like combat rounds?
no. So rounds are always the same in the game, the whole game. So basically, imagine combat in 5e. That's the whole game. Now we have been abstracting that because it's clear the author didn't intend for it to be super rigid, but like basically once everyone has a say, that's a round. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So like, I'm just trying to get a sense, like, whether it's worth investing in Can't Be Surprised for 5 rounds, or if that's like 30 seconds.
It depends on how fast you all move, but an example would be when you all came up to the door and then investigated it and the bird flew up, that was a round. When you threw the thing up and climbed up, that was a round. When you climbed down and looked at the door, that was a third round, and so on and so forth. Basically, once everybody has done a thing together, that's a round.
Okay. Well, I don't have any herbs anyway, so let's just carry on.
Alrighty.
I am ready to open the door.
All right.
I'm gonna stand ready just in case anything's gonna come out, and just
Get that sword good and ready.
who wants to
So I
open
will
that?
attempt to pry open the door.
Got it. Let's see here. Come on now.
And thank you for your blessing, Zabert. I appreciate it.
You open the door, and you can see a staircase descending down into an underground cavern.
Fire up a torch, somebody.
I'll do the same.
I have a lantern. Decided to invest in one. It's not actually like better than a torch. Well, okay, it is better than a torch. It reaches farther, but doesn't actually last longer.
And you can also use the bullseye feature of it. I don't know if that's in there, but I'm declaring that now. You can mask a lantern. You can't do that with a torch. But somebody please start a timer. I apologize. I left mine. I usually do the timer, but somebody else will need to do that for an hour, please. We'll do the...
I have 2 oil flasks total. This is going to consume one of them.
Okay. So, all right. You see, as you descend down the stone staircase, a well-hewn cave complex. Now, I'm going to move your token, and I'm just going to keep you as a group token for now. I know you're probably not moving into the room yet, but I want you to be able to see everything. Actually, let me fix that. Your lantern would give you 60 feet, I think.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So, bam. So, there you go. You see a 10-foot tall statue of a frog with bat-like wings dominating the center of the cavern. The frog's back is, the frog's back is to you. It's facing a large stone fly attached to the western wall. There are menacing portcullises in the shape of demonic mouths full of fangs standing to the north and south. And as you enter the underground, that's where we'll end the adventure for the night. Mythic Mountains RPG is a private RPG play club that focuses on folk RPGs. Those of us who play folk RPGs are not beholden to rules masters from either big corporations, voices on the internet, nor anything beyond what we agree together is best for our game and our table. We delight in supporting independent game designers. Shadowdark RPG is by Arcane Library. The City of Brass is by Frog God Games. Music is by Miguel Johnson, Tabletop Audio, Michael Gelfie Studios, Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech, and Brunaville. Details for the music, RPGs, and adventure module are listed in the description. We hope you enjoyed our adventure, and we hope you'll join us next time in the Vale.